Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all are having a great day, guys. In this video, I want to talk about the trials for this week on the Chimera. Which trials are rewarding mythical mats? Now, first and foremost, we still have the Spirit Affinity on the Ultimate form, and then Void Affinity on the Affinity changes. So, we have on the Ram form 7 mythical mats sitting on the hard trial, and for that we need to fully deplete the Chimera's dual bar within 5 turns. Now there are multiple ways to do this, and you kind of need something for damage mitigation so you survive that initial Chimera hit, right? If we take a look at the skill, it is this one right here. Attacks one enemy before attacking, removes any buffs and so on, and replaces it with the mirrored debuff, and then increases the damage inflicted by 10% for each buff converted. Now, if the damage dealt by this skill is equal to or greater than 20% of the target's max HP, it repeats the attack until the target is dead, right? So you want to make sure that your champion does not get 20% of his max HP as damage, right? So you want to stay below that. And for that to happen, you need something like block damage, stone skin. You know, the aspect of Sirov helps as well with some gemstones that is reducing the damage that you get, shield buffs, right? So a lot of things like that help to keep the dual target alive. Now, who is the ram form targeting? It's going to be the champion with the lowest crit damage. But also, to be able to complete this hard trial, you need to complete the first two in the first cycle, right? Always keep that in mind. So we need Fear and True Fear, and then we need to damage the Chimera with max HP hits, Smite, Poison, or HP Burn. Now you could use a max HP damage champion. War Master procs and Giant Slayer procs also help. You know, they're also considered max HP hits. Or you use somebody like a ninja that would deal a lot of damage with HP burns on top, right? So there are multiple ways to do this. Now there are 9 mythical mats on the line form, and for this one right here, first we need to damage the Chimera with a single skill while it is under 6 or more debuffs, and your champions are under increased defense. So we need 6 plus debuffs and an increased defense buff on your champions, and counterattacks won't affect this. So you need a champion that hits hard enough. Max HP damage champions can do this fairly easy. And then you need to absorb damage using shield buffs. And here it helps to have a cleanser, because every time you cleanse that Hunter's Gaze off that is placed by the line form will attack. So here you can see it at the beginning of the Chimera's turn, places a Hunter's Gaze debuff on the enemy with the highest defense for 3 turns. This effect cannot be resisted or blocked. And whenever a Hunter's Gaze debuff is removed from an enemy, instantly activates an Annihilation Claw against that enemy, and that is the A1, right? So the line form will attack 2 times, and then also there is a chance of repeating the same attack against a new target. And every time the line form repeats this attack, you know, the chance gets lower by 20%. So theoretically, he can hit your whole team with this, right? And that's a lot of damage that you can absorb, and therefore you know, you force the lion to attack you, and that way you can absorb more damage using shield buffs. If you time it right, you place the shield, and then you cleanse, and then the lion attacks you, and you can get this out of the way pretty quickly. But it's also possible without cleansing. I just want to say that it's easier if you have a cleanser and cleanse that Hunter's Gaze debuff off. And the same strategy works for the hard trial here too, where you have to block damage using block damage or unkillable buffs. Now keep in mind that block damage, you know, blocks the whole incoming damage, where the unkillable buff will only block, you know, the damage when your champions hit 1 HP, right? Because then it is when the unkillable buff takes effect. So everything that would kill your champions, right, that takes them to 1 HP, and then the damage that exceeds the 1 HP will be counted as blocked damage. So it's a little bit harder to do it with unkillable buffs than with the block damage buff. But also on top of that, we have the 4-star Basalt here on the line form as well. Here we need to damage the Chimera within 3 of its turns, while your champions are under 5 unique buffs. So we need 5 unique buffs when we are dealing damage. and it will not count damage from skills that are scaled on enemy max HP, so you need to deal raw damage, no max HP hits. The normal one, damage the Chimera while it is under decreased speed and decreased defense debuffs, only counts damage from skills. You want to have those debuffs anyway in your team, right? Two of the most important debuffs to have on a Chimera. And then damage the Chimera with counterattacks and ally attack skills. One of the easiest ones to do in terms of hard trials, in my opinion. There are a lot of counterattack champions, a lot of ally attack champions, and with the right team, you can get this out of the way pretty quickly. Now on the Viper form, we have another 9 mythical mats, and here we need to damage the Chimera while it is under a block active skills debuff. Nothing more to say about this. You place the block active skills and you start dealing damage. After that, you need to damage the Chimera within 2 of its turns while it is under block buffs and HP burn. So we need both of those debuffs up when we're dealing damage. And then for the hard one, you need to damage the Chimera while it is under 10 debuffs, and it must not be under block active skills. So you have to get rid of the block active skills somehow and fill up the debuff bar. You can do that with a toxic set or different sets if you just need 1 or 2 more debuffs. Brimstone helps as well. It really depends on your team composition, how many debuffs you have, but you can, fill the debuff bar with sets and blessings, for example. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. There's also, the freestyle assault on, trials number 2, but here we need to deal, poison damage. I'm going to completely ignore the poison part here, and I'm also going to ignore the 4-star assault and just focus on the 25 mythical mats. I actually already ran a team on this rotation for this, for these trials. I will put the link in the description below so you can go and check out that video. I'm not going to show the team again and the builds again. You can go over there and you will find everything you need to know over there. So this is the team that I used last time. 25 mythical mats. I ignored the 4-star assault, like I said. R-base in elite spot, Lydia, Helicat, Galathier, Marius. I think you could theoretically use an Elva or somebody else that is cleansing instead of Galathier, even though it will be a little bit harder to do, but it's definitely possible. So yeah, I think Helicat is a great champion for this week because he's enabling those line trials that are giving mythical mats, and at the same time, he can make sure that your dual target is not getting killed. So that is pretty awesome. And then R-base is providing the HP burn, which is mandatory with Lydia with the block active skills to get to the hard Viper trial. So that is pretty much how this went. Marius absolutely clutch. You probably need a 6-star crushing rend to deal enough damage to deplete the dual bar. But yeah, as I said, you can go and check out the video that I did last time. It's going to be in the description below, and I will also put it in the comment section. I also thought about using Newt here because he's providing that counterattack, and maybe that way we can get the 4-star assault as well, but my damage just wasn't high enough. And also with the increased defense of Helicat, you have to really time it right because it only places it when the block damage falls off. So it's really RNG heavy and hard to do, and the A1s from Newt are not really doing much damage, especially when you don't have increased defense on him. So I rather went for Marius, which makes it much easier to get the other trials as well and completely ignore the 4-star assault. But in theory, with Helicat counterattacking and with Newt counterattacking, it might be possible to grab the 4-star assault as well with the right gear and maybe a higher blessing on Helicat. Then here's another option. One of my clanmates did this, also pretty interesting, with Alaz, which is providing block damage and counterattack buffs. And yeah, pretty interesting comp. He's also using Marius, so didn't get the 25 mats, but he got the 19 mats, right? Which are also pretty awesome. Plus the 4-star assault, which is kind of the next best thing if you can't get the total 25 mats. You could also use a Helicat here instead of Alaz and use a cleanser as your reviver, right? And then that would work as well. Obviously, you would probably miss out on the 4-star assault, but still get the 19 mats. So yeah, pretty interesting comp and also not bad for this week. So yeah, guys, as you see, I didn't use my keys yet, but I will do so today or tomorrow. Get those 25 mats. If I remember correctly, that team was pretty easy to run, even though I don't have decreased attack on this team. It was sometimes a little bit more risky, but because I'm using our base in the second form, she's absorbing a lot of damage, and that gave me a little bit more damage mitigation, right? So I don't die all the time. But yeah, guys, with that being said, let me know in the comments below what teams are you using for this week. I'm pretty sure there's, more incredible comps out there that can get some mythical mats. Like, there's also some Mikage Ninja teams that can do it, right? So I think now that they have the mythical mats more concentrated on these trials, we have a lot more possibilities to get like 16 mythical mats or 19 mythical mats. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. It really goes a long way. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more raid content. The YouTube algorithm's going to suggest you a video that you might like right here. And see you in the next one.